here, and thank you for investing your time in education. There are numerous opportunities to hear a sales pitch. The More Conference is designed to inspire, to motivate, to connect new technologies, new ideas to help the automotive retail industry transform. And for everyone online, come on, give me a little smile, a little wave in the chat box. Let's make this an interactive experience. Today, I hope my story will inspire at least one person to try something new, to be open-minded to transform their business and maybe even their family destiny. Today's a special day. 200 years ago, Friedrich Wilhelm Pasch was born in Baden. And 50 years later, 150 years later, he decided to move to the United States. That one decision 200 years ago brought me here. What could one decision today do for your business? Instead of staying stuck, maybe take a challenge. Friedrich's decision in the age of 50 years old to start a new life changed mine. So maybe I can share with you some things kind of in a role reversal of what's going on in the US and maybe bring some inspiration. I've been in automotive retail for 18 years. It seems like 100, but very few people have done the same thing in the US for 18 years, and that's focused on automotive, online marketing, and sales process. And even though I've written a number of books, I found out that most auto dealers don't like to read. This is quite a problem. So I'm not getting rich on publications, but what I am getting rich on is the feedback, the emotions, to see people transform their life, their business through collaboration, challenging them to do new things. And so if you like to be challenged, and everyone who's online, pick up your phone right now and scan that QR code, connect with me on LinkedIn, and subscribe to my newsletter. It's free. And let's start an international dialogue. A decision that was made 150 years ago brought me here. So it's my honor to bring some inspiration to you. I want to talk about where we are in the US market and some of the new ideas we're trying. Unfortunately, as you can see from this chart, in the bottom right-hand corner, being a car dealer in the United States is not a great period of history. We have a number of challenges in the marketplace right now, but here's what I know. There are challenges here in Germany, there's challenges around the world right now if you're a car dealer, but car dealers are entrepreneurs and they've always figured out a way to be profitable. They've always figured out a way to meet the mobility needs of their local markets. Just 3 years ago, manufacturers and dealers in the United States were having a party, popping champagne, record profits. The manufacturers pretty much reduced or eliminated all incentives. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, this truck was selling for $10,000 over the manufacturer sticker price. Here we are, 2023. And the manufacturers are giving $10,000 off the price just to move the car. Boy, have things changed. Even though interest rates for most US goods are in the 6 to 8% range, if their credit is good, manufacturers are now back to 0% financing to stimulate demand. This is an interesting one. For the first time, we saw Tesla advertise their new cars on a marketplace website called cars.com. Has Tesla realized the power of the marketplace website? Have they realized that there's a limit to free advertising? have they realized that their best first dollar should be in a marketplace environment where millions of people come to shop and find value for new and used cars. Similar to slowdowns in interest in EVs that are not just the United States, around the world, we are seeing significant headwinds in the US market. I've listed a chart of some of the days supply. Some of the models in the US have over a 300-day supply. Now, in the US, most dealers are in the traditional dealer model. They're paying for floor planning interest. Do you know now, with 8% floor planning interest, dealers are paying between $60 and $80 per day to keep a car on their lot? What are the headwinds? Shouldn't be a surprise for those of you who visit the US with very low EV penetration. People are unfamiliar with the product. Number two, they are still concerned about the range. West Coast, East Coast, where you have dense population areas, but if anybody has been in the Midwest, you could drive for hours and hours and hours and not see anything close to an EV charging station. Also, the limited charging network. Tesla has done a great job of, convincing the automotive industry to use their charging network, and thankfully so, because many of the independent charging networks, even publicly held charging networks, have poor maintenance. What we're hearing is people are going to a charge point or another independent charging network, and half of the devices are broken. The early adopters are fulfilled. Now, how do we get that next movement of traditionally gas-powered or diesel-powered vehicles into EVs? The problem in the US has been most of the EVs have been at the high end of the price range, pricing most consumers out of the market. And lastly, the high interest rates. When a EV is $10,000 to $15,000 higher than a comparable ICE vehicle and 8% interest rate, when someone comes off their lease, it's sticker shock. And what's very odd is that when things go bad, isn't it true people like to point fingers? This was a sad article in the Washington Post where the author of this article blamed the car dealers for the slowdown in EV. And if you understand how the US car market works, car dealers will sell anything for a profit. It has nothing to do with they don't want to sell EVs, but they still can't convince a consumer with those 5 anxieties to purchase a car that's significantly higher than what they're used to. This is a big thing in the US, and it could be coming to Europe. Google has now moved into vehicle listing ads, or VLAs, which are similar to the e-commerce ads that show up in the search. Just for clarity purposes, these are stacked. When you do a search for a car in the United States, the vehicle listing ads are at the top, then paid search, then the maps. And I bring this up because even though we are not seeing this in Germany or Benelux region today, Google absolutely has a desire to improve their revenue stream from the automotive industry. What do these ads look like? You can see here, I did a search, 2023 Ford Explorer price, showing maybe a transactional search right at the top, position 0. Now in the US, those ads are a combination of local dealers and, listen, marketplace websites. Both dealers and marketplace websites are realizing that this position 0 listing is valuable. Here's another search, Ford Explorer, vehicle listing ads, and then to the right, the information or knowledge panel that Google will often display when it believes a consumer is high funnel trying to understand about a brand. Here's another search where a city is added. Now this is directional, looking for a car in a certain market. And now you see the dealer's Google business profile on the right. But in every case, the VLA, the vehicle listing ads, are at the top. Now, I bring this up because those of you who are in the marketplace business, we are here at an event hosted by the largest marketplace in Germany, Mobile. The good news is that this is not an either-or. This isn't VLA or marketplace. What this is a reallocation of the budget to Google. Most dealers may be doing Google SEM, search engine marketing. They may be doing video pre-roll on YouTube. Maybe they're doing banner display ads. But the VLAs are the most efficient of all Google advertising today in the US. And what happens when someone clicks that ad? Well, it goes right to the vehicle detail page on the dealer site or on the marketplace website, driving traffic, consumers directly into the dealer's experience or the marketplace's experience. Now, what's interesting is the cost structure. And I will tell you that as I work with some of the largest dealer holding groups in the United States, I've written 10 books on digital marketing. I've been doing this for 18 years. The smartest dealers I know who are not emotional, who run their business by the numbers, will always tell you that the marketplace websites present a unique value proposition because consumers go there not to shop for a new refrigerator or to buy a new suit or some fancy sneakers, which I wonder why I didn't get any fancy sneakers. I come all the way over from the United States and I got these shoes. But when people go to Mobile or Marktplatz or Trederhans, they are going there for a particular reason. And I asked my colleague Paul de Vries from Marktplatz, on average in Holland, what is the cost for VDP view on Marktplatz? 2 cents. Today, the lowest range for VLAs for the largest, most sophisticated group is about 26 US cents, up to $1 per VDP. Do you understand if you're getting consumers who are actively shopping to a marketplace at 2 cents, VLAs are not a replacement for that, but they could be a replacement for your SEM budget, for your display budget. But here's the key. If your website isn't fast enough, you're going to have problems. Because the people who leave Google's VLAs and go to your website are expecting a fast experience. And if that website doesn't load quickly, they will bounce, and you'll lose that opportunity to expose your inventory to a local consumer. How many of you have seen this article? If you're online, hey, have you seen this article? Is it new news? Is it old news? Is it crazy news? For the people here in this room, how many of you have seen this article that Hyundai and Amazon, right? The rest of you, you should read more. You really should read more. Get out of the house. Engage in the business. This news has been all over the United States, covered on every news outlet. And I'm like, why? Well, take a look at this article. It's published in 2021. The same announcement. Hyundai is going to sell cars. Ladies and gentlemen, here in this room, those of you who are online, if you said how many cars in the United States outside of Tesla from normal dealers are sold completely online, it's less than 1%. Did Amazon just figure out what every OEM in the United States and every dealer holding group that has millions of dollars invested, have they figured out? I don't think so. You see, in the US, large membership organizations like Amazon, and this is Costco. Some of you may know Costco. It's a membership discount buying club. You go there, instead of buying 1 box of cereal, you come out with 10. Instead of buying 10 rolls of toilet paper, your car is filled with 100 rolls of toilet paper. This is the model. Costco has had this program for over 10 years, and people do get a discount, and those leads are actually pretty good. But Costco doesn't sell cars, nor does it attempt to. Why would this model, this announcement, which might scare marketplace websites or manufacturers? The day this news came out, public dealer group stock prices went down. The marketplace websites went down. And then when everyone realized that this is somewhat aspirational and fantasy, the stock prices came back up. What is Amazon going to do with the trade? In the US today, people are trying to trade in cars that are worth less than they owe to the bank. Their credit has gotten worse as interest rates have gone up. There are people who owe more on the car than the car is worth, so actually they'd have to give Amazon a bigger check. And how is that experience going to be? Every state in the United States has different state disclosures, and because of franchise laws in the United States, the manufacturer can't force a dealer to sell a car at a specific price. The dealer may want to add different features, accessories, protection packages. None of these were disclosed in the announcement. For everyone who's watching online, I want you to know this. There will be changes to the automotive industry, but at the end, the dealer is the core connector between the consumer and the product, the bridge that makes things happen. And we're here today at the More Conference to empower you, to take your dealership to the next level. Do not be discouraged on the headwinds. Let's be creative and build a better retail experience together. In the US, this year and next year, one of the themes that I'm working with dealer holding groups and individual dealers is to elevate the customer experience. And that is just not a nice phrase. It's actually an intentional message to help dealers do more with data. I was talking to AJ yesterday, and he was saying, we're going to lean in next year. We're going to lean in and help dealers. We have tremendous amount of data, a tremendous amount of resources. We're going to lean in and really provide some new insights for our dealers to help them sell cars better, to have a better experience. And in the US, dealers are finally realizing after all these years that they better take care of their customer data. Some of you may have heard this phrase, Customer Data Platform, or CDP. It's the same in Germany, it's the same in the Benelux region, it's the same in the UK. Dealers primarily have two pieces of software to handle the customer experience. It's the CRM and the DMS. In the US, and it's the same here, the DMS and the CRM were never, ever designed to manage customer data. They have customer data. They have a record of a point in time, but it's not living. The data in your DMS is data at rest. It's not alive data. The data in your CRM is short-lived until a transaction. So what's the problem? The problem is we need a new tool to help with retention, to grow our brand presence, to get repeat customers. So those of you who are online, pick up your phone. Those of you here in the room, pick up the phone. Scan that QR code. Why? This is the first complete discussion on the use of CDPs in automotive retail at the dealer level. Some of the OEMs here in the room, some of the OEMs who are watching online, you will know what a CDP is because you've maybe worked with Telium or Treasure Data or Sitecore or Salesforce or Segment. The average franchise dealer has no clue what these companies are, with maybe the exception of Salesforce. These are companies that are being used by brands here in Germany and around the world. to collect, maintain, and optimize customer data, I want to challenge the largest dealer holding groups here in the room, those of you online. Read this report. Not because it was written so beautifully, or maybe it was, but it's an inspiration. Why do dealers need to consider a CDP? Is because your data is fragmented. In the US, there are over 15 separate software companies in most franchise dealers. They have the DMS and the CRM. They have a website company, maybe an identity resolution company. They have a service scheduler. They have a finance application. They have an equity mining tool. I could keep going. They have a marketing platform. They have an email delivery service. They have a texting platform. They have a chat. Is anybody connecting here with this story? I asked some dealers in Belgium and in the Netherlands this week as I was traveling with Paul de Vries. And one dealer said, I got 25 different companies that I depend on to run my business. Guess what? How can you have a great customer experience if each piece of the journey is in a separate database with the right hand not knowing what the left hand is doing? Are you sending communications to people who no longer own the car? Are you sending a service promotion to somebody who is just in the service drive at a lower price? Do you know when someone's lease or financing loan is coming to an end in advance, showing other cars that they could trade into or trade up? This is an example of a graphic of what a CDP does with a company I'm working with for a large dealer holding group in the US called Telium. On the left-hand side, a CDP will take daily data from the DMS, from the CRM, every phone call, every website visit, every change in inventory, every text message, every chat session, changes in banking rates, and update in a privacy-compliant way with GDPR compliance to have a unified view of the customer. This is so important for dealer holding groups. Some of you have 10 brands, but a customer could have bought one car at one brand and then 4 years later at another store. You're not connecting those pieces often. You're competing with each other instead of trying to move that data, update that data, and then in a coordinated way, market to those people. This is not what a CRM does. This is not what a DMS does. And it is my belief that the most profitable dealer holding groups in the world that have scale, have vision, who want to elevate the customer experience. The theme of this show is to go to the next level. They'll be investing in a CDP. Now, there are small CDP companies that are more affordable and larger ones. Find a company that provides the scale and vision that you have. In the US, our Telium project looks at two entities, not one. Many CDPs think the customer is the center of the universe, and it is, except we also have a car. That car moves from customer to customer over time. The car has a recall, not the consumer. Although some of you may be married to someone who you would like recalled. That's something completely different. Cars and people. Imagine having a central database where you can track every address change, every email change, how frequently they call, how frequently they text. Do they open emails? Do they fill out lead forms? What's their preference of communication? And then the car. Where it's being serviced, how often it's being serviced, does it have an open recall, is this car available for some government incentives or upgrades? Two separate profiles. In order for the automotive community worldwide and this message is for the world. We need better data access between vendors. We need to start teaching data management strategies. We need to build experience taking data and activating it on Google or Meta or email or through texting or messaging. And then establish some benchmarks so the whole industry can rise. Are you keeping track of the lifetime value of every customer in your portfolio? In the US, it's common for people to have stocks in their investment portfolio. They either manage them themselves or they have a professional manage them. The goal is when they retire, the investments have grown. Why aren't we thinking of our customers like that? They come in because of our marketing, our brand, our location. What are we doing to make sure that they're buying more cars from us, that their family is expanding with our brands, and that we're doing all we can to create a great customer experience? In order for that to happen, we need robust APIs. And I bring this in for those of you who are technical. If there's any technical nerds online, you just put like a little computer icon. Just say, I'm a nerd. Or just say, type it in, I'm a nerd. An API stands for Application Program Interface. Ladies and gentlemen in this room and worldwide, we got to do a better job of communicating data between programs. Instead of saying, this is my world, it's protected, no one can come in. Dealer holding groups and dealers can only create an elevated customer experience, take their business to the next level if we can unify the customer transactions. We need a mindset of not protectionism, but of collaboration. And I'm not saying, and I'm not living in a fantasy world, that the OEMs and the dealers like to share data. I'm not talking about that. That's a bigger issue. I'm talking about the vendor community, the website companies, the CRM companies, the DMS companies, the chat texting companies. Why can't we work together to create a unified customer record? I want to share one thing that is very cool in the US. It's a unique problem that we have, but hey, I'll share it with you, is we get a lot of spam calls. Just by a show of hands, and for people online, just answer this question, yes or no. For people online, just put in the chat. If somebody calls you and you don't recognize the number, do you pick up the phone? All right, in this room, if somebody calls you on your mobile phone and you don't recognize the number, how many of you are picking up the phone? About half of you. In the US, it's, well, pretty bad. You should just take some time to fill out a lead on your own website and time how long it takes for you to get a call and what number shows. I want you to do that. You don't have to do that right now because I know you want to pay attention to every single word from the stage. It's that exciting. But in the US, out of all age groups, 67% say they will not pick up a phone if they don't recognize the number. With US adults, it's 81%. Why is this important? When you look at the demographics of the US, people will not pick up the phone if they don't know it's somebody they can trust. Spam and robocalls are not a problem. According to my colleagues in Holland, I'm not sure about Germany, but we are seeing people getting more and more spam. In the US, this is in market, which is branded call display, and I think it's coming to the EU next year. Instead of on the right, where 8 out of 10 US adults will not pick up that phone when your BDC or your salesperson calls from a lead, that on the left, just the opposite, 8 out of 10 will pick up the phone. If you're a business person, think about this. Even though you don't have this today, here's a little tip. If you assign leads to a salesperson, the first thing you should do before calling them is send a short email with the salesperson's contact card, mobile contact card. And just say, hi, I'm Brian. I'm the sales associate assigned to help you find the perfect car at our dealer group. I will be calling you in a few minutes. Would you just save my number in your phone so when I call, you know it's me? You with me? You know what that's going to do? That's going to elevate your pickup rate. In the US, we'll be able to even put the reason for the call. It could be vehicle availability, or I'm calling about a service appointment, or I'm calling about your trade-in. It's that exciting. And then we're working with the CRM companies to actually have a drop-down list of which outbound phone number to use so the right message appears on the phone. The last thing I want to mention is the US dealer market has been obsessed with trying to understand the latest version of Google Analytics. Those of you who are online, are you frustrated with Google Analytics? Just give me a yes or no. And if anybody says they're not, then you're not using it. That's all I have to say. If you say, no, I love Google Analytics 4, you've been drinking too much. Because it's not ready. It's truly a product that has not been fully vetted. It's changing on a regular basis. We have no choice. The old version of analytics is shut down. Those of you who are looking, especially dealer holding groups, if you want a breakthrough across all of the websites in your dealer holding group, or if you're an individual dealer that says, I want to know everything that's going on my website, you can pick up your phones again and scan this specification. 2 years ago, I started a consortium, now over 100 automotive technology companies, to support one standard for GA4. It's now been extended into Canada, Mexico, Italy. I'd love for it to see wider use. It's free, it's open source, but here's what it's doing. It's creating a significant breakthrough for dealers who want to optimize their Google ads. Dealers who are using Google ads can see improvements of 30, 40, and 50% if they understand how to fully leverage the power of Google Analytics version 4. So get a copy of that. Now, the configuration of Google Analytics 4 is the part that is the hard challenge. And today, I hope you're seeing this message. I'm not selling anything. I'm leaning in to help you. I'm trying to save you time. I'm trying to inspire you. How could you do more? How could you take your business to the next level? When you see some of these terms, if you're a dealer owner or a marketing manager or a technical person, if you don't know what those mean, you got some work to do. Because without Google Analytics 4 set up properly, you could be losing valuable data every day. I made it easy for you. Once again, if you care about Google Analytics 4, scan that QR code. This is a configuration guide to help your dealership's marketing team, agency team configure. By downloading this, when I update it, and I will be updating it because Google's changing things all the time, you'll also be notified. Today, more than ever, if you want to understand the value of marketplace websites, regardless of which country you're in, you will always make emotional decisions, oftentimes poor decisions, unless you know what's going on your website. What it costs you to generate a VDP view, what it costs you to generate a conversion, what it costs you to develop an engaged shopper on your own website. I hope you enjoyed my story. 150 years ago, Friedrich Wilhelm Pasch. By the way, some people say Pasch in the US, which is offensive to anyone who's German. Pasch. 150 years ago, he set out to the US to try something new. Here's my challenge to everyone here at the conference. With all the changes in mobility, with EVs, financing, agency model, dealership model. Are you willing to step forward, be bold, take a risk? Maybe your decision today can be the best decision for your family, for your career, and the next 2 or 3 generations. That's my hope and wish for you today. It's Thanksgiving in the US, and I'm thankful to be here. Thank you for your time. I see a box here.
Yeah.
Anybody see how quickly that operations team was working?
It's online marketing.
Yes, that's fast.
I heard there's like a delivery, so I was like, okay, let's go bring some sneakers.
Wow.
As we were talking sneakers like a couple of seconds ago, and they're like these fabulous mobility sneakers. We were like, you should have your own.
Wow,
so.
come on, look at that. Look at that. Come on, everyone online, say, I want those sneakers too. I want those sneakers.
They're not for sale right now. I know there are many people quite jealous right now. So thank you so much for taking the time. And listening to you, I think I learned a lot right now. I was like, what would you say if you take the German market and US market? Are they like learning from each other? Are they going through the same process right now in these times that everything is changing?
Yes, as I was speaking with AJ, I was speaking with Paul and other folks from the automotive community. One of the differences that I see in the German market is the German market has great potential. Many dealers are just understanding the power of data, inventory management tools, inventory insights, and I think Mobile is committed to bringing these tools, some tools that we have in the US. But I also see a very unique difference is that Mobile is a dominant player in this market. In the US, it's very fragmented. So dealers can feel more confident of investing in the marketplace. And then, as I've encouraged the dealers to do, find the best ways to supplement your marketing activities through website design, through smarter advertising, but together, I think the German market is ready for a breakthrough if the education of the value of the marketplace and external marketing tools are understood, we can really grow together.
All right, thank you so much. Are there any questions out of the audience right now? Hat irgendjemand eine ganz spezielle Frage, die er noch schnell loswerden möchte? On the other hand, I think you will be around for quite a second.
That's
so if
right.
anyone feels like asking you in person, maybe you can take the time later on to be speaking to someone face to face. Thank you so much. Großen Applaus bitte nochmal für
Thank you everyone
Brian
online.
Pasch.
Thank you everyone here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Don't forget your sneakers.